Welcome to Planning by Design. In this video, we will cover everything you need to know about permitted development, including what is permitted development, what project types can be permitted development, when might permitted development rights apply, what are the requirements for permitted development, why is prior approval required for some permitted developments, permitted development limitations and constraints, why is a lawful development certificate recommended, what are the risks of getting permitted development wrong, how to find out if your project is permitted development or needs planning permission. What is permitted development? Permitted development in the United Kingdom refers to specific construction and alterations to buildings that can be undertaken without planning permission. These rights are established in the General Permitted Development Order, a set of regulations outlined by the government. The General Permitted Development Order outlines the criteria and limitations for various types of developments, such as small-scale extensions and changes in the use of buildings, which are considered to have minimal impact on the surrounding environment. Adherence to the General Permitted Development Order is essential to ensure compliance with the law, as failure to do so may result in the requirement for retrospective planning permission or enforcement action. What project types can be permitted development? Many things can be done under permitted development and do not require planning permission. However, this is only provided they meet all of the necessary planning criteria, and there are no hidden constraints that limit or remove permitted development rights. Extensions, conservatories, garage conversions, loft conversions, porches, walls, fences, gates and access, decking, pergolas, driveways, hard standings and dropped curbs, outbuildings, solar panels, change of use, house in multiple occupancy or HMO for short. It is very important to note that every project type has different planning and design criteria that must be met in order to be considered permitted development. In addition to this, there can be hidden constraints which remove your permitted development rights. This literally means there could be two houses in the same town both doing exactly the same development, such as a 3-meter extension, for example. One could be permitted development, while the other needs planning permission, even though they both meet the criteria for permitted development. If you would like to find out whether your project could be permitted development, contact us for a free no-obligation consultation. When might permitted development rights apply? Houses in England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales can have permitted development rights, but not all houses have permitted development rights. Flats, maisonettes and commercial properties do not have permitted development rights, so they always need planning permission. Each project type is subject to certain standards and criteria, including limitations on the size of the building work and renovation. However, it is important to understand that these rights vary depending on the type of property and its location. To qualify, the proposed work must adhere to specified limits and conditions, as outlined in the technical guidance provided by Parliament and the UK planning system. What are the requirements for permitted development? In order for the proposed changes to your property to be considered permitted development, they must meet specific requirements which vary depending on the type of project. These requirements include complying with limits and conditions, such as not exceeding height and volume restrictions, maintaining a reasonable distance from neighbouring properties, using materials that match the existing building and avoiding significant alterations to the property's appearance. Normally, a change of use will require planning permission. However, if the change is within the same use class, it could potentially be considered permitted development. It is essential to consult with your local planning authority or a qualified town planner to ensure compliance with permitted development rules and prevent any issues with paperwork, retrospective planning or enforcement action. Why is prior approval required for some permitted developments? Some permitted development projects require prior approval from the local planning authority before work can begin on the development. For example, a single-storey rear extension on a semi-detached house that extends between 3 and 6 metres or side extensions of up to half the width of the original dwelling could require prior approval, although they might meet the criteria for permitted development. If prior approval is required, it is illegal to start until the local planning authority approves a prior approval planning application, ensuring there is no negative impact on your immediate neighbours. If you start work without planning approval, you risk receiving a planning enforcement notice if a neighbour reports you or the council notice your development. Permitted development limitations and constraints. The allocation of permitted development is subject to limitations, with each house having a specific allowance. This means any previous developments may have already used some or all of the permitted development rights at the site address. In the event that the allowance has been used up by previous developments, even if a project satisfies the criteria for permitted development, planning permission will be required. It is also important to note that there may be hidden planning constraints in place that could remove or restrict permitted development rights at a particular site. Examples of such constraints include Article 4 directions, conservation areas, areas designated as outstanding natural beauty, listed buildings, and even residing under a flight path. Why is a lawful development certificate recommended? In order to obtain a legal determination that a development is permitted in accordance with the rules, it is necessary to submit an application for a lawful development certificate or prior approval. The decision to approve or reject the application lies with the local planning authority. It is important to note that permitted development rights can be revoked at any time. Therefore, even if the development is deemed permissible upon completion, changes in planning policies could result in retrospective planning issues or enforcement action if there is no legal confirmation that the development was lawful and did not require planning permission. To safeguard against this, obtaining a lawful development certificate or prior approval is essential. Additionally, a lawful development certificate is typically required when selling or remortgaging a property, as it provides confirmation of the development's legality and protects against potential issues or enforcement action. What are the risks of getting permitted development wrong? There can be serious and costly consequences for getting permitted development wrong. If the council determines planning permission is required for something you have already done, you would receive a planning enforcement notice giving you 28 days to apply for retrospective planning approval or put the property back to its original state and use. Around 20% of our planning applications are retrospective, and 90% of the UK's enforcement teams are significantly backlogged, so these issues are common. 99% of enforcement cases are for things people were sure did not need planning permission but got it wrong. How to find out if your project is permitted development or needs planning permission? It is strongly recommended that you seek expert advice from a qualified town planner before commencing any work to limit your risk and expense. If your local planning authority still offers a pre-application service, this could be an option. You would need to submit architect drawings showing your proposed development together with a detailed written proposal. A pre-application costs up to £600 and typically takes 4 to 8 weeks to get a response, which is still not a legal determination and doesn't guarantee your application will be successful. Alternatively, we can provide you with pre-planning advice starting with a free no-obligation consultation to discuss your project. Contact us now for a free no-obligation consultation to discuss your project. Thanks for watching. We hope this deep dive into permitted development has been enlightening for you. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel for more insightful content, and hit that notification bell to stay updated on our upcoming videos. We value your thoughts and questions, so feel free to share them in the comments below. Your feedback drives us to create more content tailored to your needs. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy developing.